Hi guys, welcome to my food channel, Mel's Gluten-Free Symphony. My name is Melissa and today I will be sharing with you my orange blueberry cheesecake cashew brownie cake. I dare you to say it 3 times faster. This luscious, sweet, tangy, chocolatey goodness just melts as you let it sit on your tongue. So let's begin the ceremony. Recipe. First things first, guys, making the cream cheese. You need 1 kg of good quality creamy yogurt. Hatson is the brand I'm using, but of course you can use whatever brand is available in your area. The higher the fat content, the better. I've got 2 500-gram packets here. All you need is a deep vessel, a sieve, and some muslin cloth. Place the sieve on top of the vessel, followed by the muslin cloth. Use 2 layers of muslin. This ensures you don't lose any yogurty bits during straining. Empty both the packets out and gently wrap the yogurt. Now just pop it in the fridge for 24 to 36 hours. If your vessel isn't deep enough, you might need to empty out the liquid whey collected at the bottom at least twice. You don't want the base of your draining yogurt to be submerged in liquid whey, or else it'll not form a thick, creamy texture. At the end of it, you should get around 450 to 500 grams of cream cheese. Also guys, most of the ingredients in my recipes are measured in weight and not volume, as accuracy is key to consistent cooking. So if you don't have a kitchen weighing scale, I highly recommend you get one, especially if you're an aspiring home baker. Moving on to the orange blueberry compote. You need 120 grams of pulp from an orange. This large, juicy orange was sufficient for this recipe. I'm cutting into this, but you could just stick your thumb through the top and peel away the skin. Do not throw away that gorgeous peel. It'll be used for the garnish later. Now, remove the bitter pits and seeds and measure out the pulp. Next, in a saucepan, add your orange pulp and topple in 120 grams of dried blueberries. I'm using unsweetened blueberries here as I like to control the sweetness levels. But if you're using the sweetened ones, make sure to adjust the sugar accordingly or just leave the sugar out entirely. Depends on your sweet tooth. Switch on the flame to medium and stir in 50 ml of water. Next, stir in 24 grams of sugar. That's approximately 2 tablespoons. Again, if you're using sweetened blueberries, you might want to skip this step. Let it bubble for around 20 minutes, stirring every 5 to 7 minutes. Keep checking to see if the berries have plumped up. You may need to add some more water after 10 minutes or so, just to help rehydrate those berries and cook them down. Smashing a few of them creates a rich and chunky jam-like texture. Now, thoroughly mix 1 teaspoon cornstarch with 2 teaspoons water and stir it into the compote. Continue stirring while it's simmering for a minute or 2 till it starts to thicken. A tiny amount of cornstarch slurry really amplifies the mouthfeel of any topping or sauce. Oh my gosh, just look at how sticky and glossy that topping is. Switch the flame off and let it cool completely. If you wish, transfer it into an airtight container and store it in the fridge for up to 3 weeks. Moving on to prepping the cashews for the brownie batter. These are going to be spectacular because there's butter involved. So roughly chop 60 grams of cashews. I like to keep mine a tad bit chunky. That crunch just gets crunchier. But that's entirely up to you. I personally love the crunch in a fudgy brownie. Once you're done, place your frying pan over medium-low heat and transfer the cashew nuts. The pan should be non-stick and something that's big enough to evenly spread those cashew chunks. Then add 15 grams of butter. I'm using regular salted butter here. Stir it in, making sure all those chunky nut bits are getting coated fully. Let that toast for 5 minutes. After the smaller nut pieces begin to develop a rich golden color, that's when you know you need to keep stirring to prevent those from going too dark. No one likes bitter nuts. You want a nice, even, light caramel brown on all your chunks. Once you're satisfied with the color, switch the flame off. Keep in mind they do continue to brown, so keep stirring for around half a minute and let it cool to room temperature. The next step is making the cheesecake batter. I'll reveal why this batter needs to be made prior to the brownie batter a little later in the recipe. So first, that velvety homemade cream cheese needs a quick whisking. This step should not be skipped. It breaks down all the lumps, softens it, and makes this batter super light and fluffy. Now you need to add 2 eggs. Crack them into a separate bowl first. This way you can fish out any pieces of shell that may accidentally fall in. Fishing them out from the cream cheese is close to impossible, and you'll end up with crunchy pieces of shell in your creamy cheesecake. Anyway, now you need to add 60 grams of sugar and whisk it for about 1 to 2 minutes till the eggs and the sugar are well incorporated into the cream cheese. It should be a homogeneous mixture with no white or yellow eggy bits floating around. What's a creamy cheesecake without some thick, fresh cream, am I right? So add 40 grams of it into your batter, half teaspoon of vanilla essence and a pinch of salt. The salt really brings out the tanginess, guys, so make sure you add that pinch. Whisk it all together for 1 to 2 minutes and your cheesecake batter is done. Fold it a few times just as a final stir. Not too vigorously though, you want to retain the fluffiness all that whisking is done. Cover it and pop it in the fridge while we move on to the brownie batter. For this, you need to roughly chop 175 grams of room temperature dark chocolate. If it's at room temperature, it just makes the entire chopping process by hand a lot easier. I'm using the More's 45% pure chocolate slab, but you could use whatever brand you like. Make sure it's pure chocolate, not compound, guys. You want that velvety melt in your mouth feel that only cocoa butter can give you. Transfer this into a microwave-safe bowl and add 70 grams of salted butter and half tablespoon of instant coffee powder. The coffee really enhances that cocoa flavor by adding a dark roasted mocha spin to it. Pop that in the microwave and melt it in 20-second bursts for about 40 seconds, stirring in between. Do not melt it in one go, as rapid heating causes the chocolate to seize, which makes it difficult to blend in with any batter. After it's done, give it one final stir, and now you have your gorgeous silky buttery mocha chocolate sauce. So tempting. Keep that aside to cool and move on to the dry ingredients. You'll need 35 grams of rice flour. To that, add 15 grams of Rajgira flour, 12 grams of cornstarch, 15 grams of good old Dutch processed cocoa powder, 1/3 teaspoon baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon salt. Whisk this till everything is well combined, making sure there are no lumps in this mixture. Next up, the wet ingredients. You'll need 2 eggs. Once again, guys, crack them in a separate bowl in case you need to fish out any broken pieces of eggshells. To that, add 80 grams of brown sugar. I love its complex caramel notes. I think it just makes this brownie even more divine. So simply whisk these ingredients together using an electric whisk till the eggs almost double in volume. This should take around 2 to 3 minutes on low to medium speed. It will go from dark yellow to a bright yellow to a pale yellow, and that's when you know you need to stop whisking. The frothiness of the egg mixture helps boost the rise of the brownie during cooking, making the crumb airy while also holding it together once cooked. Now empty your buttery mocha chocolate into the egg mixture. Scrape that bowl nice and good. Then add in 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla essence and whisk away till all your wet ingredients are well combined. So the reason why the brownie batter needs to be made after the cheesecake batter is because the baking powder will get activated as soon as you topple it into your wet ingredients. The longer your cake batter is left standing, the lesser will be the rise. Remember, there is no gluten structure to trap the carbon dioxide. So it's best to shorten the time period as much as possible between the activation of this leavening agent and the baking process. This ensures you get an optimal rise. Now that that's out of the way, add your dry ingredients and get whisking. Actually, you might want to stir in your dry ingredients first to avoid creating such a mess. Oh well, live and learn. Anyway, keep whisking till you get a nice even batter. I had to stop and scrape the bowl midway, but you need not do that if you already stirred. Whisk for about 2 to 3 minutes on low to medium speed and give it one final stir. The batter should be thick, yet pourable, and fall in ribbons. The final step to this batter is adding those butter toasted cashew chunks. Make sure you get all that delicious caramelized butter. Stir them in till all the pieces are coated well in the brownie batter. Also, you might want to begin preheating your oven to 180 degrees C at this stage. For the cake, I'm using a 7-inch round regular baking tray here that I've lined with butter paper at the base and greased with butter along the sides and the bottom. Now first, you need to pour in your cashew brownie batter and using your spatula evenly spread it around the cake tray. Try not to get any brownie batter along the sides or else there won't be any distinction between the brownie and cheesecake batters in the circumference of the finished cake. Also get every last drop of that precious brownie batter. Shake the tray, then lift it up by about an inch from your platform and drop it. Do this a couple of times to remove any air bubbles. Now for the cheesecake batter. Thoroughly scrape the bowl down and pour it all out. Once again, using your spatula, make sure to spread it out nice and even. Do not shake or lift and drop the cake tray after this. You want to retain the air in this batter. Clean off your spatula and if you have any unevenness on the top, just use your finger and lightly spread it around till it's almost smooth. Your oven should be preheated to 180 degrees Celsius by now, so all you need to do is simply pop it in and let it bake for around 50 to 55 minutes. Closer to the end of the baking, you will notice the edges of the cheesecake have risen quite high in comparison to the center. No need to fret, because as you let it cool on your kitchen countertop, it will sink back down and form an almost level top. The best way to know it's done is to jiggle it ever so slightly. It should just be about wobbly in the center. This ensures a soft, creamy, textured cheesecake as it cools. The cheesecake naturally releasing from the tray as it cools is another indicator of it being perfectly cooked. Who's up for some more butter toasted cashews? But before we begin, I need to mention that since these are garnishes, you can honestly do whatever you like. I'll just be showing you what I've done to prepare my garnishes for the cake. Okay, now back to the cashews. I'll be splitting them in half rather than chopping them. I think it just gives the final look of the cake more edginess, more pizzazz. But you could change it up a bit by adding crushed or roughly chopped, whatever you fancy. I've decided to work with 30 whole cashews, which gives me an ample amount to work with. You don't want to run out of garnish while decorating, that's for sure. I simply toss them around in 1 teaspoon of butter over a medium-low flame for about 5 to 7 minutes till they turned a toasty caramel brown. If you're using halved cashews like I am here, make sure to turn all of them so that both sides brown evenly. Buttery golden cashews. The stuff of dreams. I'm also using fresh mint as a garnish. The peppery cooling sensation lifts the rich, sweet, creamy, dark flavors of the cake. I just plucked a few small mint stalks and rinsed them to remove any residual dirt. After rinsing, you may want to thoroughly dry them out with some tissues or a towel. A soggy cheesecake isn't very appetizing. Once you're done, keep them aside. Now for the orange zest. I'm simply using the orange skin that I peeled when making the compote. If you've never zested before, scrape only the orange part of the skin and not the white. That inner section is quite bitter. I'm using my trusty mini grater here and scraped the orange skin along the zest aside till I got approximately half a teaspoon. You could grate more or less depending on how strong you like your orange flavor. And now we're set to decorate the cake. For garnishing your cake, keep all your toppings ready. Decorating a cheesecake is time sensitive, especially in our Indian climate. My cheesecake has been chilling in the fridge for 24 hours, so it's nice and firm and will be easy to upturn. Remove the cling film and run a butter knife along the circumference of the cake till there's no resistance. By separating the cake from the tray, it just pops right out. Now take a large plate bigger than the diameter of the cake tray and place it on top. Turn it upside down, just give the base a few taps and it should just release. Because it's a brownie base, it's easy to upturn. A regular cheesecake with a biscuit base might be better off being baked in a spring-form cake pan. Who knows? I might put that recipe up too. Peel off the butter paper and take your fancy cake base. Place the right side facing down over the brownie base. Support it with your good hand and upturn it once more, and voila! Your cheesecake brownie is ready for some glam. So the first topping is of course the orange blueberry compote. Just look at how sticky that is. All you need to do is simply spoon the topping over the cake a little at a time, making sure to spread it out evenly as you go along. Don't press it down though, just very lightly layer it out. Keep doing this till your entire top is covered. You could push it a little towards the edges, but not too much. You don't want your topping falling off. Next garnish are those butter toasted cashews. Cannot get enough of them. So, as you can see, I've decided to create two concentric circles with the halved cashews. The inner circle going clockwise and the outer going anti-clockwise. But you can make whatever design you like. And now, that vibrant orange zest. I'm not doing too much with this, just simply sprinkling it on there, making sure it's going all over the top. And the finale, fresh mint. Once again, I'm not doing too much, just placing one tiny stalk in the center of the cake and a few others in between the cashews. You could even mix it up a bit with some stalks and some leaves, whatever you like. And it's done! So there you have it guys, my orange blueberry cheesecake cashew brownie cake topped with orange blueberry compote, butter toasted cashews, that vibrant orange zest and some fresh mint. If this video made you crave some of that velvety cheesecake brownie, show some love and subscribe to my channel. Maybe even share this video with all the dessert lovers out there. Crafting this cake was a treat in itself, and I know you will enjoy making it. It's an easy recipe with simple, readily available ingredients. It may be a little time consuming because of all the components, but hey, once you take a bite out of this, I promise you, it would seem like time just fades away. So why don't you give it a try and let me know what you think? The comment section is open to all your feedback. Did I mention show some love? Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. If you don't mind me, I cannot wait to devour it. Oh my god, you guys have to try this. Make sure you get everything. The orange zest, the toasted cashew nuts, the mint, and of course the cheesecake and the fudgy chocolate. Like, all in one morsel. It's absolutely divine. I am super, super proud of this recipe. Okay guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.